Hi everyone, and welcome to Knitting at the Boxerville Homestead. Today's episode is quite long, and at the end I hope that you will join in listening to the paintings, listening to me and describing the paintings that we've had of the 11. Actually, we've painted 11 of them. We've had 13 rescued boxers. And I've been asked several times to give a little info about their story, and so I did it at the end. It is 8 minutes long, and as I mentioned, I do hope you take the time to listen, not all at one time maybe, but like Ruth says from Ruth Loves to Knit, watch it in segments, but this will give you an idea of why John and I do what we do in rescue. Otherwise, it's a bit chopped up today, and I just opted not to redo it and just to give you real life here at Boxerville. I hope you enjoy, and I hope all is well. Hi friends, and welcome to Knitting at the Boxerville Homestead. My name's Carol, and today is November 13th. It's been, I think, 3 weeks since I actually did the last podcast. I've just been procrastinating something fierce, and I'm not sure why. I haven't been knitting crazy amounts or crocheting or really doing any of that very much. I have just been busy kind of nesting, getting the home ready for winter, I guess. I mean, that's all I can think of. Anyway, today, did I say it's November 13th, 2023? I would like to thank all of the returning viewers that are coming back. And if you are coming back, or even if you're new, welcome to you as well. I hope you stick around. If you would, I don't say this often, here comes Sophia, but if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. I love to interact, but it also is a way of growing the channel. I think we're at 459 subscribers. I would like to do one of those G words at 500. So let's bump it up. Let's get it up. Share it, like it, subscribe. On the analytics, I think I've mentioned one time before, it shows that a lot of the returning watchers, aren't subscribed. So do the old girl a favor and hit subscribe. Let's see. I'm going to look at my notes today so I can kind of stay on track. This is Sophia. I'm sure y'all have seen her before. She's usually with me, behind me in my chair, which I think if she gets behind this one, it's going to cut my head off because I'm just on one of the dining room chairs. Although we could share it, I guess, if she really wants up here, which she probably will. Anyways, let's get on it. Today, I have a couple of FOs, believe it or not. Whips that have been continuing. I'm on Sleeve Island for 3 sweaters. It's nauseating. I don't know why. I do them 2 at a time. I've mentioned that many times before because I get second sleeve, second sock syndrome, so I have to do them at the same time. Upcoming cast-ons and our rescue. Actually, today we have 2 rescues because they're both podcasters that have contacted me with their rescues. So the 2 rescues of the podcast. I am wearing, it's actually, I have no idea where that wrinkle came from. And I thought about steaming it before, but I thought, I'm going out. Hopefully, if the weather stays the way it is, right now it's beautiful. It's sunny, blue skies. I bet it's in the 40s. I mean, I have wool on in the house, even though our home is warm. Some people, it would probably be hot, but my husband likes a warm home. I don't really care. I can layer on, off, either way. Sidetrack, Carol. Squirrel. Anyway, it's beautiful outside, and I'm hoping to be able to get these 2 out for which they're both here on the couch, one of those WALK things before it gets dark, because now it's dark by like 4:30. Bernadette, I'm going to go off on another one. Bernadette, the last of our 8 chickens that we had, she will be, I think, 13 in February. She likes a charcuterie plate every day before bed. we missed it a couple of times because it gets dark, and then she goes upstairs to roost because she has a 2-story home. It's quite elaborate. My husband built for them. Anyway, she gets just mad, and she goes to bed. She won't come back down for it. So she gets usually some fruit, grapes. She really likes grapes. Some green salads. She's really into lettuce right now. I bake a big cornbread pan, and I cut it into tiny chunks, freeze it separately so they're separate. John will pull one of those out. She really likes cornbread. And then whatever sort, if we have any meat in the fridge, she really likes roast beef, I can tell you that. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. I realize that. But you know what? She's old. She's the only one left. She's been alone now for a little over a year. Cecilia died not this past summer, but the summer before. And darn it, sorry about this, but my husband's calling. So how do I make that stop? Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to send him a message beforehand and tell him that I was podcasting. So if you will be so, if you don't mind, I'm just going to say I am podcasting. I really apologize for that. And I could probably cut it out, but I probably won't because this is life. All right, where were we? I think that's all the intro stuff. Close to 500 subscribers. Would love to do one of those G things. I have several things in mind for yeah, so help me get up there. That'd be awesome. So let's see. I welcomed everyone. And again, huge welcome if you're new. I am kind of all over the place. It's my personality. You know, I'm not one of those calm ones. I just don't give that. I'm I'm on the go moving girl all the time. What I'm drinking, great cup of coffee. This is Dunkin' Donuts in my Dollar Tree. Is that what it's called? It used to be a dollar store, but now it's the $1.25 store. John and I were down at my brother's, staying in a really nice hotel, but they only had coffee in the rooms in paper cups, and it's just not the same. It's like, so we went to Dollar Tree down there, got 2 mugs and 2 glass wine glasses, so we get actually wine in the glass. And so this is it. This is just coffee with some lovely cream, actually. Okay. My finished objects. My first finished object is actually hanging right here. I'm going to take it down as soon as we're done, but because it looks like a lot of glom with all of my autumn and Thanksgiving stuff on the mantle, but this is going to be for Christmas. I didn't have a pattern for this. I just went rogue. I winged it. I crocheted it. I don't even know what stitch this is, to be quite honest. It probably has a name. Joe, you know, it probably has a name. I could show, let me take one down and I'll show it up close. And I did tell you guys, didn't I? Andrea Mowry, I'm wearing the Weekender. Oh boy, I tell you, what side do these, is this, oh, I already have it open. It's on the other side. Andrea Mowry. And I believe this is it Cascade 220? I think. I knit this several years ago, and so I'm not really sure. It has taken it's a workhorse, whatever I did it in, but I think it's Cascade 220. I know a lot of people don't really care for the open boat neck. Is that what it's called? I like it. This is rough now. I have wore this camping a lot. It's been washed several times, and it probably could use it again. But it's so comfortable and it's so warm, and I like it. And I'm sure y'all have, it was really popular for a long time. And she has the Weekender Light now, which I'm not going to knit because I don't really have a desire to do fingering weight yarn again for a while. And this is so similar. So anyway, back to this. So this is crochet. I have no clue what stitch that is, or even if it is a stitch, but I did it. I held double 2 yarns, which, do I know? I have to look at my notes. I wrote bits and bobbles. The only one I know is the green. I wanted more of an olive green, and I didn't have an olive green for the trunk. And so I bought Big Twist. It's a 4 medium, and the color is olive drab. This up here is 2 colors held together. It's kind of a, well, they're both middle-aged beige, right? Kind of a creamy color and a more of a wheat. Well, actually kind of more of like this color, but it wasn't this. It's acrylics, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And anyway, I think they're cute. And like I said, I started at the top, and I just, every row or 2, I just added on to get the shape of the tree. The hooks I'm using, I ordered from Amazon. I needed, they're light bulb hooks, and I needed them for something, but I can't remember what I needed it for at the time. But I thought, oh, I'll just get a bunch of them. And I'm actually glad I did. It came in this little container. I'll see if I can show without tipping them over. Where am I? There I am. In all the colors. I've been using the gold. So, and I think they were so inexpensive. Like, I don't even know if it was $5. I can't remember. Anyway, very handy. And they worked perfect for this. The stars, I started to do the stars double, held double as well as the trees. Oh, the sun's getting bright now. I'm probably getting washed out. But it just didn't look right. I didn't see any definition. You couldn't see the holes. So I just used the darker, more of the beige color on it. And I did follow a pattern on this, and I will try to remember to link it below. I cannot remember right now, and I didn't write it down, did I? I did not. I did write, though, that the trees I used a 5mm hook, which is an H here in the US. And for the stars, I used a 3.25mm, which is a D for the stars. And if this gets too washed out, I may move. I didn't anticipate the sun hitting that window so hard, even though I've shut the blind. It's really kind of washy, isn't it? I wonder if I can scoot over a little bit, if it would be better. That's a little better, right? Yeah, what the hey. So that's it. Garland trees, star, crochet, finished object. Kind of cute, simple. For this, I literally took a ball of jute, and at first I was going to braid it, and then I realized that long braiding it would be really a trick. So I put it up on my chandelier, literally, 4 strands, and then I just twisted it and just kept twisting it, and it stayed twisted that way. So, and I wanted something very simple, kind of clean, because I want to do I have a bunch of trees made out of wood and other things, and I just want it to be kind of the green and simple up there for Christmas. We'll hang stockings on the fireplace in the family room. So anyway, that's one of my finished objects. And a sip. Okay, so if you've been watching for a while, I think you all should, if you are standing, I think you should sit down now. Because, believe it or not, John's Fred Flintstone socks are done. And this has been an ongoing project because I started them, I think, late spring, maybe early summer. I don't even remember. It might have been June. But in the summer, he's not going to wear wool socks. And so I would keep putting it by the wayside until finally he said, I haven't had any new socks this year. So I got on it. So these are, again, no pattern, kind of my pattern, I guess. I've knit for this man for so many years. I kind of know his feet. I don't have a sock blocker that would fit in it proper because it would end like about right here and not be wide enough. So this is how we're going to get it. They are knit out of Yoth yarn, so yarn on the house. And I read a little bit about that. Now, I did not realize that it was started by a brother and a sister. I don't remember their names, but then one of them, I kind of think it's the sister, but it may not be, ended up buying tolt yarn and wool. And that happens to be where I bought it. Now, at the time, I did not realize that. I knew that they had sold, and I think because I took y'all on a field trip there, I was disappointed in it. It was very different. And maybe it was because I know that it was just like post-COVID stuff. The lady in there was fabulous to talk to. She was not the owner, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I did purchase this at Tolt Yarn and Wool. It is Yoth yarn. I don't know if they're still making yarn or not, come to think of it, now that I look, because I know I looked at several sites and they only had like what they had left, and that was it. And they kind of had notes of it. So it's a fabulous yarn. It's really a good heavy yarn. This is a Rambouillet, and it's plied woolen spun yarn. It's a worsted weight. For the heels and the toes, I know I've mentioned before, but if anybody's new and didn't know or see before, I held mohair with it because, of course, heels and toes, as far as getting any holes or anything in them, the wear. And if he gets a hole, it's generally like right in here. His boot must hit it, like just so. So I'm going to see. We'll see what happens. I do a 54 stitch when it's this big of a yarn, this big of a wool. And I just kind of do what I want to do. I knit the cuff 2 by 2 until I'm tired of doing it. And then I start in on the leg. Of course, heel flap gusset. Oftentimes I do the eye of partridge. I don't know what I was doing this time. It's not the eye of partridge, but it's that thick, heavy regardless. I just did like back and forth one by one. I always, on my socks, oh, that is so washed out there. I'm so sorry, you guys. What was I saying? I don't know. That Blair over there. I don't know whether or not, do you guys mind if I kind of scoot over again a little bit? We'll see if we can get away from, and I'm going to move you guys a little bit too. Hopefully I don't tip you over. I have you on my iPad. This is a close up, right? A little better? Oh, cussing the sun. Why would we do that? Especially in November. Oftentimes we have snow by this time. So I do 54 stitches, 2 by 2 rib, knit till I'm sick of knitting here. Heel flap and gusset. Here's a 12.5 double E foot. I knit down the length that I need. This actually has a lot of, I make them a tiny bit shorter. I started doing them a little longer because of the fact that these would felt, I would think, and he did not like it. He said that they stretched out. And so I do them a little bit shorter, and then he puts that big old foot in it, and he loves them. So what else? I don't know what else to tell you about him. I did the mohair. I used US 5, so 3.75 millimeter for all of it. I don't think sometimes I will go down a needle size or so for the cuff, but I don't think I did. I don't think so. Anyway, the Fred Flintstone socks are officially done. Surprise, I know. You guys are probably fell over or think I'm never going to finish them. Anyway, now he can wear them. He's been wanting to wear them. And I've literally been trying to do this podcast for, oh my gosh, 10 days, maybe longer than that. Something always, the day gets away from me for some reason. When you're so busy with life in general and you have all these things to do, you guys know, what it's like. And you try to sneak knitting time in and other things. And anyway, today is the day I was able to do that. Okay. And now I'm wondering, oh man, I might have lost my other page of notes. I thought I had everything down about my whips and what they were made out of. Well, here we go. Last week I talked about, or last week, the last podcast, I talked about my spinning, and I'm actually finished with both. I have them on my wheel. I had my wheel close when I was like sitting over there, Anyway, they're both finished. They are ready to be plied. This is a 100% mohair. It was the, I have this all written down, you guys, on my whip page. And you know what? I don't know what I did for my whip page. Anyway, I'm ready to ply it. I am probably, I have it off. I have it on 2 bobbins now. I'm considering whether or not I want to split it into a 3rd bobbin and do a 3-ply or just do a 2-ply. I am not really sure. Hopefully I'll have that done for the next podcast because I have that new wool. It's not new now, but it's the last wool that I bought when we were at the coast that I really would like to get going on. But this, I am probably going to, I want to knit something for my neck with this to go with one of my jackets. And I'm not sure what. So anybody have any suggestions? I have done, the only thing I've not done is what is the one by Petite Knit that was so popular? The Italian Knitter's Italian summer scarf was so similar to what she knit. The Sophie scarf. I should know that. Sophie's right here. The Sophie scarf. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions. I'm not sure how much yardage I have right now, but I'm thinking I should have at least 300 yards. I'm guessing with as much as on, I would think. We'll find out. I'll let you know. Anyway, I am excited to see this done and get it soaked and thwacked and hung and see. It's pretty even right now when I pull it out and twist it. It feels pretty darn balanced, which is cool. If you spin. Does anybody spin? Do you guys spin? Is this even of interest, the spinning part? I kind of go in waves with it. I have a ladybug and it's by Shocked. I love it. It's, to me, was so easy to learn on. I went from several drop spindles to it, and it really, the learning curve was after working with the drop spindles for quite some time, the learning curve really was not that bad. And I loved it. And I do love it when I do it. It's so fun to see what you can create. Okay, so the next whip is my Felix Cardigan. And this is yarn by Yarn B. I bought this at Hobby Lobby after seeing Amber's cardigan that she knit out of the same in just a different color. I think hers is hers is a gold color and I can't remember the name. Seems like it has ochre in it. So here we go again, sleeves, right? Oh, I'm working on the sleeves on my Arboreal, and I'm not going to touch anything else until I get that done. My friend Catherine, who lives, I'm holding that thing. Sorry about that if I hit the microphone. My friend Catherine from Connecticut, hers turned out so beautiful. She sent me a picture, and I should have asked her if I could use it. I didn't think to. I might get an email out to her and see if I can. And if I can, I'll put the picture up here. I showed you when it was in progress, but right now it's on her person with 2 other people who I could crop out. But it turned out so cute. It's just really lovely. And so that really gave me the oomph that I need to get it done. So really with this, it's button band and sleeves and collar. And again, I think I mentioned last time, but I'm going to mention again, I've had a couple of people tell me to make sure when I pick up for the collar to pick up less stitches than what's recommended because it ends up being really loose. And I think Amber may have even said that from a Lovely Yarn on her podcast as well, that doing it again, she would pick up less stitches. I think. I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure. And then the sleeves. This is a little, this is a medium weight yarn, and I think the sleeves are going to go a lot faster on this than the Arboreal that I'm knitting. But I love the color. It's just a color that I enjoy wearing. I tend to wear kind of, I was about to say drab, and I guess it is kind of drab colors, but it's what I like. except for this Arboreal sweater that you guys have seen. It's bright orange. Well, it's not really orange. It's kind of a rust. So anyway, that's it as far as I got on it. I did block it. That's why I think it hangs so nicely, because I wanted to see, I was really concerned it wasn't going to fit me in the bust. Even though according to gauge and the size that I knit, and similar to what the Felix pullover sweater that I had a heck of a time but ended up knitting, I was concerned when it was prior to blocking that it wasn't going to fit. And so I was able to try it on, and I think it's going to be fine. I swear I am still going to, okay, I have to pause, and I apologize. I'm back. For him to call the second time, it made me nervous that there was maybe an emergency. So no emergency. He'd forgot. And I just sent him that text. He's coming home with a load of wood. You know, we burn firewood, and he clears land for a living. And he has a load of wood that he's coming home with. He must be quite tickled about it for him to call back again and forget that I told him I was podcasting. So I do apologize. And I think that's pretty much all I was going to say about the Felix Cardigan. This is an old note that I had. So yeah, I think that's it. It was a quick knit. The body did seem to kind of slog along a little bit. I made it a little bit, let's see. So collar, I apologize. Hopefully I'm not hitting that microphone. I did make it just a tiny bit longer. Where it's going to hit about there, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Okay, the next one is another one you've seen, but this is the one that I'm determined I'm going to keep going on until it's done. And hopefully I'll have it done for next time. So I've been just knitting sleeves like crazy. This is the Arboreal sweater by Jennifer Steingass. I am knitting the second size. I'm knitting it out of, you guys could probably even say this with it because I've shown it so many times, right? Patagonia in the color cinnamon number 113 and ivory number 116. This is, I mean, it's beautiful. I love the color work. I think it's just beautiful, and I just want it done so I can wear it. It's gonna be, oh, it's gonna make me so happy. So sleeves, I might be to the elbow. Yeah, I guess I'm to the elbow there. I'm knitting them on, are they 9-inch circulars or 12-inch circulars? I can't remember. US 5, so that's a 3.75 millimeter, is that correct? And it just seems like I am going nowhere and getting anywhere. So what I did is I started every day putting the stitch marker so that I could see, yes, you are making progress. It's just slow going. That's what I've knit today. Not very much. I've been busy today doing other things. Oh my gosh. And then the other side is not as far. I'll probably knit today, and then I'll probably go back over here tomorrow. I've been trying to switch back and forth every couple of days. I don't know what else to tell you about the pattern. It's beautiful. It's written absolutely beautiful. Well, Jennifer Steingass patterns anyway, you know, they have a simplicity to them, but I think they're just super classy. Very classic. Something I think that's going to stand the test of time, like The Weekender is another one, I think. There's just certain ones that, you know, they're just classic. They're not trendy. I don't know. I just think it's beautiful. I would totally knit this one again. I know I mentioned before, I think this one really, for a beginner, even though it looks like there's a lot going on, I think for a beginner, it might be really an okay place to start. for color work. And it's a lot of it is because of the way that she writes the pattern. So again, the Arboreal, I hope that next time I will have this finished. And I also hope that I'm going to be able to figure out how to put these two videos here together because I had to stop, Mr. Cushion. Anyway, I love it. I know I've said that multiple times, but I can't wait to wear it. And hopefully next time I'll be setting, not here again, because we have these two huge lights that go to the ceiling. It's a dormed, is that what it's called? It's a high ceiling. And stinking sun. Shouldn't say that, but truly. Okay, let's see what comes next. I do have some acquisitions. It's not anything big, but I thought I would show you. Again, I don't know. Do you guys watch Amber of a Lovely Yarn? Because she enables me continuously. She knit a pair of socks out of this Peyton's Croy socks in the color Mid-Century Stripes. And they were so cute, like so cute. I love the color. And I am just holding everything I can not to cast them on because I'm going to get that Arboreal sweater done before anything new goes on the needles. So anyway, I saw these on Joann Fabrics and they had a big sale on their, I don't remember if it was all sock yarn or just Peyton's Croy sock yarn, but isn't that just, I love the colors. And again, orange is my favorite color. So I'm attracted to getting it that way. Anyway, I can't wait to cast those on. Actually, John, my husband too, would love these. I could probably get 2 short pairs out of them if I did the cuff, heels, and toe in a contrasting color. I could probably get us each 2. I have little dinky feet. I wear a size US 6.5, Euro 37. On my work, I wear Danskos. I'm a nurse. I don't know if I've ever said that today. I know I've said it before. I'm an ER nurse. But I wear Danskos, and they are a US 7, and that allows me to, no, they're not, a 37. They're a Euro 37. And it allows me then that I can wear, even in the winter, the wool socks that we knit. And then they're still comfortable. So, and then I was looking at Joann's for buttons for my Felix cardigan, and I found these. They had a sale. I think it was buy one get 2 free, something like that. It was a really screaming deal. So I think these are the buttons that I'm going to put on it. I wanted something in the gray silver family that would kind of pick up. This is called fence post. I didn't even tell you the color. I think it's fence post, something like that. But it looks like it looks like a fence post to me. Barnyard fence post. Anyways, to me it truly looks like an aged barn fence post. With lichen on it. And here's the mailman gonna come to the door with a package. And the big windows where he can see me talking. So we might just pause a moment here. I'll try and cut this out. Anyway, the buttons, I love them. And everybody, let's have a drink of coffee and talk amongst yourselves. Sassy will too. Sophia, this poor podcast is I was going to say what we would call it at work, but that's not proper to say here. But I can say a dumpster fire. It's pretty much a dumpster fire here today. And now he's taking his time to get here. So like I said, talk amongst yourselves. Have a cup of something. It's getting on 2:45 here in Seattle, Washington. I actually am outside of Seattle, but I'm not sure I even mentioned that to begin with, but we do live in the Pacific Northwest. I usually say that every time. It is, it's beautiful here. It really is. Of everywhere I've traveled, I come home. And I'm sure everybody thinks that of where they live. And here it comes. Sophia, knock it off. You be nice to Dylan. He's a nice postman. Sophie, enough. Enough, you little witch. And we got to cut all this out. Thank you. Oh, dear jeez. And we're back. I'm not sure how I cut that out. Hopefully I did, and it's lovely. Dylan, our postman, was here, and he saw me sitting here in the window, and he looked at me kind of funny. I just smile and wave. So the buttons, I was talking about the buttons. I really like them. I think they're going to be just right for my cardigan when I get the button band done, right? While I was button shopping, oh my gosh, look at these. I have to make something, some sort of a sweater to go with these. I have 2 more. I think I have 8 total. Are they not fun? I don't know why. Why do you buy buttons and you have nothing to go with them? Does anybody else do that? I have a button box, and I have some buttons from my mom and my aunt, and now from my sister-in-law. My brother gave me all of her sewing, just so generously gave me all of her sewing things. Anyway, I had to have them. I don't know why, but I'm going to use them like this too. Whatever I find to put them on, I'll find something, I'm sure. Acquisitions, I think that is it for my acquisitions. I believe. Yeah, I just had a couple of things. I have been making, another thing I've been making. Do you guys dry these? I'll put a picture in of my kitchen window in the breakfast nook. I have a garland of these. These are just mandarins, I think. The ones I have in the kitchen are actually oranges, and they had just got to the point they were getting kind of old and hadn't been eaten, and I thought, what am I going to do with them besides juice them? And I thought, I'm going to dry them. These are dried right on the wood stove. Now, the ones in the kitchen, I followed directions on the internet, and I dried them in the oven, or did I do it in my dehydrator? Maybe I did it in the dehydrator. I can't remember. No, I think it was the oven. These I literally had a metal rack like you would put cookies on, and I laid them on it, and then I put them on our wood stove. We have a regular wood stove. It's not an insert in the fireplace. It's just a regular wood stove. And they dried up beautifully. Actually, the color, isn't that pretty? And that's like really accurate color. They're just really vibrant. So I'm going to thread these as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I may put them in the window going up our staircase that goes like this, and then a landing, and then up again. There's a big window there, and I may hang them in that window because the sun, we do get some sun in that window, and I think they'd be beautiful with the light coming through. So that's what else I've been up to. And I think that's it. Now, I do have 2 rescues that I'd like to talk about. This is something that I just started doing, and I have had a lot of really positive review, or I guess you would call it reviews, but positive feedback on doing it and how much it meant to people. So I'm hoping that some of you who have also rescued, whether it be cat, dog, horse, goat, whatever you rescued, donkey. I just met a camel that was a rescue, Vicky, a couple of weeks ago. She was pretty amazing. That you write to me at my email, which I didn't say at the beginning either. You can find me at BoxervilleHomestead@gmail.com. You can also, on Instagram, it's Boxerville Homestead. You could message me that way. And on Ravelry, my name is Nittennurse. I don't go on Ravelry very much, pretty much only to get my patterns or print something. So messaging me there, I probably wouldn't check it. Email or Instagram, either one of those are fabulous. But I'd love to hear your story as well and to be able to share it with everyone else. So the Republic of Me podcast and on Instagram, Ivana, if you don't follow her, you need to. If you don't watch her podcast, you need to. She's a talented woman that she does everything. Absolutely everything. She spins, she weaves, she knits, she writes patterns. She wrote a beautiful pattern and shared it with us. I don't know that she really knits much from a pattern. She knits for her sister and her mother and brother-in-law, husband. I mean, she's prolific and she's so calming. Totally opposite of me. She's just she just really can make you feel grounded and appreciative. She's also a painter that is amazing, self-taught. Anyway, she has some rescues. She has, looks like kitties, as well as this dog, Sunny. And I'll put the picture up. She said she had very few pictures and said, "This is our dog, Sunny. The reason why you usually don't see her in my vlogs is that she's terrified of cameras. I've never found out why, but being a rescue dog might have something to do with it. So I don't force it on her. However, sometimes I do manage to sneak in a shot, pretending that I'm taking product photos. And it is interesting. Our dogs either do not, you pick the camera up and they'll turn their head. I don't know why it is. Ours are also rescues. We've noticed it in the past with our rescues as well. So I don't know. Is it related? I don't know, because I've not had, I was going to say a regular dog. Well, a dog that's not rescued. We've had 13. Since our very first one, we bought Dakota and then started rescuing. And I don't remember back then, this was 1989 when Dakota was born. So we didn't have cell phones. I don't think. No, I'm sure we didn't have a cell phone. No, because that's the year we got married and we didn't have a cell phone then. Anyway, so we didn't have the ability, well, to take pictures continuously and always have your phone with you with the ability to take a picture. So I don't know back then. But anyway, regardless, Sunny's beautiful. If you don't watch, like I said, her podcast, you need to. She's just amazing. She just recently did a sock vlog podcast that is really good. I will link her YouTube station channel below in the comments section. So anyway, she's pretty amazing. She did say that they believe she's about 11 and they think she's a mixed golden retriever and hunting dog, but she is very beautiful and it's a great story. She lives on the island of Cyprus, and I don't know what the history is there of stray dogs. I know a lot of countries that you go to, there are stray animals that kind of just roam the streets. It's very sad. So, hey guys, it's Future Carol, and what would this podcast be without me having forgot a lot, actually? But I wanted to add here, because I'm going to be putting in pictures not only of Ivana's dog Sunny, but also of her cats. And I just wanted a little piece that she had sent to me, and I missed it somehow or other. But she said, "I wanted to let you know that all of our animals are rescues. We took our dog Sunny from a shelter, and both of our cats were abandoned as kittens. One of the kittens was so small that his eyes were still closed when my husband found him. It's the black and white one that we often see in her videos. At first I had to feed him on a syringe, and he is 12 and a half now. So I just wanted to add that in, and let's continue on. Okay, bye." The next rescue is from Katie, who has a podcast also, Duck Potato World. And sometimes her mother is on there with her. They're really delightful to listen to. Katie's taught me a lot about sock machines, which makes me really, really want one. Well, she's taught everybody she's talked to, not necessarily me, but I've watched her videos. And She wrote in, and I'll put some pictures up here of Roxanne. She said, "Meet Roxanne Hart. My husband and I had gone to the local pet store to get food for our dogs one Saturday afternoon a little over a year and a half ago now. We were in the checkout line, and one of the employees had this skinny dog on a leash. She jumped up on me and put her nose on my nose. The employee explained she had been wandering around the Walmart parking lot next door and causing trouble, so they went and got her. She was not chipped. That was it. At that point, I was a goner. I didn't even want any more dogs, but I wanted her. I just looked at my husband, who laughed and asked if she had a home. The store had a list of people who were interested in taking her, but we could add our names to the list if we liked, and we did. The very next day, the store called. She needed a home ASAP. They were in trouble for keeping a stray in the grooming kennels. So we brought her home. You could count all her vertebrae and every rib, even through her thick double coat. The store had reported that she had had a lot of ticks removed, but they thought they got them all. After we got her home, we continued to pull ticks, as well as something else, a clump of fur with a hard center that we couldn't identify at first. Out of the fur on the back of her head and neck for days. We took her to the vet. They figured she was about a year old. She had odd, hard nodules in her ears, head that the vet couldn't account for, and unfortunately, she was heartworm positive. Not the most encouraging vet visit we've ever had. We discussed our options with the vet and decided on a course of treatment for the heartworms, and agreed to just keep an eye on the nodules. One of the nodules eventually started to drain and open up, and a little black ball fell out. The nodules were birdshot embedded in her ears. That was what was coming out of the back of her head and the ruff of her neck. The birdshot that hadn't broken the skin very deeply had made knots in her fur that she shed over time. Someone had shot her in the back of the head. We've managed to remove all but one pellet that doesn't seem to bother her. After about a year, she is no longer testing heartworm positive. Now she's healthy and happy and very, very attached to me, and I love her to pieces. I've attached a couple of pictures that they found in one from today. So Ivana and Katie, thank you for rescuing. Rescuing and fostering is huge in rescue. It truly is what saves lives. If you don't have a foster home, you get a call from an animal that's going to be put down, or a family that's in distress that has to get rid of one, and you don't know what's going to happen. You need a foster home to put that dog in order to save its life. It truly can. I've seen it many times over the years. Anyway, that is the end of this mess of a podcast. I'm going to watch it back through a little bit. Of course, now if you've seen to this point, you know that I've kept it. Otherwise, I may try again tomorrow, and I will block John from calling during that time. Otherwise, if you're in the need or market for another four-legged family member in your home, I would hope and pray that you would please consider adopting and not shopping, because the life you save could very well be your best friend. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope to be back in a week. That's always my plan. But for the time that we're apart, I hope you are well, that you're enjoying the holiday season coming up. If you're in the United States, we have Thanksgiving in a little over a week. I can't believe it. And following that will be Christmas. So take care, my friends, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.
Hi, friends. So I've been asked a couple of times about our boxers, and so I just thought I would go through and just kind of give a quick little blurb about each one of them. There's actually another painting with 3 more on it, and Sophie and Chance are not painted and we hope not to paint them for a long time, if you know what I mean. So this is what started it all. This is Sir Dakota Von Rude. We called him Coda or Joe mostly. He was purchased from a breeder, and it was actually a lovely place where he came from. It wasn't nasty at all. They did no genetics. However, this little girl is really what started it. She had been probably ran over by a car at some point. She had signs of broken pelvis, part of her jaw, missing a lot of teeth. She was blind in one eye. And we actually came across her when people had supposedly found her and was dropping her off at the vet. This is Chelsea. We called her our little rat farm girl. We actually had gone in with a police department without getting into too much, and she literally was living in a rat farm, and they were breeding like crazy, and it was I sobbed when I left there. Madeline, I kind of stole, kind of. I drove by her place on my way to work. She was tied up to a very short leash on a porch. She was left there for days at a time. No water. It was summer. Walking in her stool, no food. Finally, one day, I couldn't stand it anymore. And what really set it off was the day before I had seen some man there and he had kicked at her. And I thought, no more. The next day I went back and I borrowed her and kept her. This little guy, Max, he was tied up at a rescue on Camino Island in the middle of the night. Sheriff actually had driven by, saw him, contacted one of the volunteers that I actually worked with, and said, you need to come get this little guy. I don't think he'll live till morning. Long story short of him, he had eaten at some point a hacky sack ball. It got stuck in his duodenum. He started having syncopal episodes. He was fainting. And he ended up in an emergency vet for days. Finally, they went in after it, thought maybe he had eaten a rock. They opened him up, almost made 2 dogs out of him, and it was a hacky sack ball. I still have that hacky sack ball, and this was in the 90s. That hacky sack ball cost us a little over $5,000. Worth every penny. He was amazing. This is Rudy. Rootin' Tootin' Rudy is what we called him, and he was a gentle giant. He was our only boxer to grace over the 100-pound mark, and he truly was a gentle giant. He taught us so much, and he died, I know, from a broken heart. After losing Max, they were like soulmates, and he literally just dropped dead after he grieved. It just was amazing. Little Chloe here. She was obviously used as a breeder. She, without giving a lot of detail because she came from the coast, and her owners at the time had gotten into a big fight. This is all per the neighbors next door. And she had just had puppies because when she came to us still, she had really big teats and still had milk. Anyway, when the guy left, he took her puppies and he ran over every one of them in the driveway in front of her and left and never came back, and left Chloe locked up in the backyard. The neighbor, which was an older gentleman, thankfully, was actually her guardian angel because he contacted a rescue that we had worked with before in getting Rudy. Actually, these 3 here came from South Beach Paws. And anyway, Joan, who is no longer with us, she contacted me and said, oh, I've got this little sad story girl. What do you think? And I was like, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. It's like 3.5, 4 hours away. Jack came from the same shelter. His name actually was Max as well. It was a popular name back then. We started calling him Jax and ended up just calling him Jack because don't you think that fit his name? We still have a tree out here that he used to chase a squirrel around, and we still call it Jack's tree. He came from the shelter, and it was just people didn't have time for him, which is so sad. Okay, I'm going to make a quick turn. I'll try not to make you dizzy because the other painting is right here. This is our 3 M's. Miles, Molly, who is a mix of a bunch with Boxer, and Matty. And Miles, we didn't even have a year, but he came here and he did everything he needed to do. He was a Southern California boy and did not have a good life, let me tell you that. He came here and he finally overcame a lot of fears that he needed to and found love, and that was what he needed to complete his journey, and I'm so thankful for him to this day. He had the most amazing caramel colored eyes, and I have a picture of him with me looking at him, and I can see my reflection in it, and that still brings me such joy. Little Miss Molly Doodle, she was ancient, and she loved John so much, and we ended up with her. I went down on New Year's Eve. She was going to be put down. We kind of wonder if she wasn't, supposedly she was picked up as a stray. We kind of wonder if she wasn't a homeless person's dog, just because of some of her behaviors. She loved John like no other. I have pictures actually of her where she would just lay in his arms on her back. She was deaf, but she learned hand signals from us super quick. She was deaf because of her ears had not been cared for, and she had had obviously so many hematomas to the point it occluded her ear and ability to hear. Maddie came from love. This little guy here, he came from love. His family was older. They had lost their home. Absolutely broke my heart. You know, we wanted to do, I would have given them money to be able to keep him, but that wasn't it. They needed a home, and he needed a home, and they were living in a trailer, a travel trailer. And they found out about us through a rescue. And when his dad, who has now passed away, dropped him off here, he took him for 2 or 3 walks before he finally left. And we were all absolutely in tears. Maddie laid by the front door, the door that his dad went out, for several weeks. It was just heartbreaking because he was waiting for his dad to come back. Maddie, everyone that I've showed you, you know, of course, are no longer with us. He was such a big, gentle giant, and we called him Big Sexy because he was just big and sexy. And even the nurses at work, when I would leave work in the middle of the night, if I worked till 2 or 3, when I first started saying, I'm going to go home and snuggle Big Sexy, I'm pretty sure they thought I was talking about John, and that too, but really it was to go home and snuggle Maddie. So anyway, those are our first 11 boxers. And I hope it just kind of gives you just a quick insight of what rescue means to us. I could go on and on about each one of them, but I'm already at 8.5 minutes, so I hope that just shows you a little bit of, in each one of these, we have gotten way more out of them coming to live with us. They have taught us so much, and we are so thankful to have shared their journey. This sleep maple is so incredibly beautiful.